Now, dear students, we know that there are two ways you can send your Gerber file or your PCB to the manufacturer for fabrication. That one thing is you tell your manufacturer that you only need your PCB to be manufactured or fabricated. And the second thing is, if you want to that your manufacturer should also stuff all the components on your PCB, like let's say if you have some microcontrollers, if are LEDs for indication, and bunch of few ICs that you have used in your project, and you want that you will not stuff that components on your own, rather you tell this to your manufacturer that he should assemble your PCBs as well. So what the manufacturer will do, manufacturer will want that he can either hand solder all these components or use machine to place component on the PCB and then solder them. So for the machine to stuff all the components on your PCB, the manufacturer will ask you a file that is called component placement file. This file includes data that which type of component will be placed on which place in the PCB, on your PCB. As you know that PCB includes components of two types like SMDs and through holes. Then you will specify the in an easy way that you will specify the coordinates of your of the components in the PCB, that which type of component is placed at which place in your PCB. So that file that will help the machine to understand the position of the components on your PCB is called components placement file. So component placement files are text files that list each component on the board along with its center position and orientation. These files are used for programming pick and place machines and may be required by your manufacturer if you are ordering fully assembled PCB. So for generating this component placement file, the thing is, you first of all go to file. Over here you will see the fabrication output section, and in this section you will see component placement. Click on this. This will open the dialog box that will generate placement files. In the output directory you will assign the folder where you want to store your component placement file. The next thing, the component placement file is the format that KiCad will allow you to generate three type of format. Either you can use plot your component placement file in ASCII format or CSV or a Gerber format. So the format choose between generating a plain text like ASCII or a comma separated text CSV file or a Gerber placement file. Then comes the unit. The component placement file will have unit in inches or in millimeter. Then you can choose files that there are two. As you can see that components can be placed on the top side of the PCB or on the bottom side of the PCB. So either you will choose separate files for front and back, means that the component placement file for the front PCB and the component placement file for the back side of the PCB both should be will be generated in separate files if you choose this one, separate files for front and back. And if you want to do that in single, then click on this single file for the board. Then it will contain the data for the top and bottom side of the PCB. Then there are few more options like include only SMD footprints. When enabled, only footprints with the SMD fabrication attributes will be included. You have to check with your manufacturer to determine if non-SMD footprints should be included or excluded from the position file. The next thing is that exclude all footprints with the through-hole pads. When enabled, footprints will be excluded from the placement file if they contain any through-hole pads. even their fabrication type is set to SMD. So if you want to exclude the footprints with through hole pads, then you have to enable this, and if you want to include those, then you have to let this as it is. You don't have to tick this option. The next thing is include board edge layer. This is included when this option will be activated when you choose Gerber. Then it will ask us to include board edge layer. Board edge layer is actually the outer boundary of the board outline. Then it says use drill / place file origin. When enabled, component position will be relative to the drill file origin set in the board design. When disabled, the position will be relative to page origin, which is on the upper left corner. So the next option is use negative x coordinate for footprints on the bottom layer. So these are all the options for generating placement file. If you click on generate position file, this will generate a file that will contain the positions of the components. Let's say if I click on this generate, the file generated is now successful. So by clicking on this generate position file, you will generate your component placement file. So hope you have understood the purpose of component placement file for which they are used.